Hi, everyone. I'm Holly Amaya, and I'm here with my Story Imprinting co-founder, Anne-Marie Hoftailing. And at Story Imprinting, we teach great companies and great people the art and science of storytelling. Please subscribe to our channel. We are doing all kinds of content just like this one that you're watching, and you can watch it on demand whenever you want. So please subscribe. Today, Anne-Marie, we are going to talk about the fact that, astonishingly, we are finally at the end of 2020.
Alas!
Alas, hallelujah. And we're kind of in performance review season. So whether you're in a company, you're coming up on your end of year review, maybe you're a lawyer and you're in a firm and you're looking toward partnership, all of these decisions kind of tend to get made November, December time. And so I want to talk a little bit about managing feedback. A little birdie, who is my business partner and the smartest person I know, told me once that feedback is a free education to excellence, which I love. I personally remember as a young lawyer being terrified of feedback. Terrified. I took it insanely personally. I'm a perfectionist, and so it made me, it did a number on my self-esteem. And rather than really hear it and implement it and ask the kinds of questions that would have advanced me further in my career, I sort of dug in a defensive posture and felt like I wanted to go crawl in the fetal position and just lie down for a month. So this is very common, by the way. Right. I mean, I feel like we see this with clients at all levels of experience. So talk to me a little bit about how we can overcome that. How can we make the most of this performance review time and really manage feedback?
Yeah, so I want to say two things. I think we should talk today about delivering feedback.
Yes.
So whether you're watching this and you've got to deliver important feedback or you've got to receive it, understand that both positions require a lot of vulnerability. That's why good feedback's really hard to get. People don't want to deliver it. They want to avoid it. So let's first start with if you're receiving feedback. I think for one thing, see it as an education for excellence and seek it out. Don't be afraid of it. If you see it as your right and something you deserve rather than punitive, you're going to have a different relationship with feedback. Yeah. And I always tell people, we say this to our clients all the time. If somebody says, well, you're doing a great job, you just need a little more time, or you're doing fine, don't worry about it. Don't take that. That's not good enough. You need to say, this is really important to me, and I really want to be in this next phase, or I want to be doing this kind of project work. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I would love for you to tell me more about how I could do X, Y, and Z better, or what needs to occur for me to get to the next position. I think that too often people sort of take that and think, whew, I got great feedback, and walk away.
Yeah.
Instead of
on to next year.
Yeah, on to next year.
My fingers.
And like really high performers are actively seeking feedback. Really high performers are finding every tiny way they can get a little bit better. So just understanding that it's not punitive and seeking it and challenging it when it's amorphous. I also think when you're getting negative feedback that's really crappy, like, well, you're too aggressive. I don't know what that means.
No clue.
You're too passive. What does that mean?
Right.
Ask for specific examples and understand if you have an emotional reaction to it, just welcome to the human race. It's hard. It's really hard. To Holly's point earlier, of course it's personal. It does feel like somebody's saying something because they are.
Right.
And, they are. And it doesn't always feel good, but also understand that that's really a tool to make you better in the world and get you closer to what you want. So don't be so afraid of it and seek it. And I think also think about what you want to get out of your performance review. Don't think of it as a passive thing that you're just receiving, but what are you doing there to also communicate? How are you planning for that review? What kind of have you memorialized the work you've done in the past year?
Which is huge, right? I mean, we have clients who get to November, December, and they're like, I have no idea what I did in January or February, right? I mean, I think some of the best advice I got when I was practicing law and when I was in-house, particularly if you're an in-house attorney, most of the time you have to assume that most people have no idea what you're doing with your time, because they don't see it. And so I would just I'm a big fan of doing it by hand, but there's so many ways to do it, right? And I would just keep a tickler list of all of the big milestones. And it's relevant, frankly, in the context of performance reviews. And it's also relevant as you look toward positioning yourself potentially to another role outside of your current organization, right? So I think that's a hugely important tip to take away from this.
That's right. And I always tell people it's not everyone else's job to advocate for you. It's not
Right.
everybody else's job to remember every single thing you did. It's your job to communicate that. It's
Right.
your job to memorialize it. You've got to take agency and ownership over your own career. Now, on the flip side, what I think about delivering feedback in reviews is it's important to actually have the hard conversation. And excellent leadership is about not avoiding hard conversations and not avoiding critical feedback, but delivering it with elegance and being compassionate.
Right.
Feedback should never be a tool of punishment. It should always be a tool of growth and investment. And sometimes you're going to have to tell people hard things. That is part of your job. And when you don't do that, you rob somebody of their future higher self. That's what you're doing. And it's also important, I think, to know that women and people of color get less critical feedback.
Right.
And so when you know that, you understand that that is another way in which certain populations are hampered from advancement.
Right.
So I think on both ends, reimagining your relationship with feedback can radically change a culture. And I often say, cultures focus heavily on how to deliver feedback and rarely on how to receive it.
Right.
And it's really important that you say, like, feedback is something that is given in love and service.
Right.
It is not for punishment. It's something we're doing to sort of move towards excellence. And I think, the last thing I'll say is, if you disagree with something, instead of becoming defensive, ask questions.
Yeah.
That will serve you much better, because what it should indicate to you is maybe this person isn't communicating accurately, or clearly you don't understand. So say, when you say that X, Y, or Z, can you give me an example of that? Can you explain when that's occurred? Because I'm not clear about what you mean by that.
Right.
Ask really good quality questions so that you get a lot of clarity. And if somebody's delaying your advancement, ask the question, what needs to occur to get me to the next place?
Yes,
and then you get some commitment from the other side.
Yes, I love it. This was all fabulous, fabulous tips. If you're watching this and you're in performance review season and you're feeling a little defensive or nervous or any kind of way, we want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments or reach out to us personally. I'm Holly at storyandprinting.com. and Marie is AMH at storyandprinting.com. And we want to hear. We want to, all of the comments that we get from you guys informs the content that we put on this channel, and it informs the kind of trainings and webinars that we do. And so we want this to be highly responsive to the needs of actual working professionals. And so please subscribe to our channel. Please let us know the kind of content that you're looking for. Let us know about your relationship with feedback. She is an elusive mistress. And have a wonderful day. Thank you, Anne Marie. See y'all later.
Ciao.